Hello, I'm FPX Toycat, and welcome back to the Minecraft update news video. Today I have some incredible news to share with you all, because yesterday we got not only a new snapshot for 1.18, but also a brand new Bedrock beta. This is very exciting because we finally have both versions releasing at roughly the same time and doing something that is truly incredible, not only adding a ton of new features like clouds generating at Y192, not only adding a ton of new generation features like the brand new meadow biome, but also there is supposedly much more parity between Java and Bedrock seeds than we've ever seen before, and that's something I had to confirm myself with today's video. By the way, if you like this, you can subscribe. It is a great way to see more of these videos on your homepage, and also greater than 99% of house fires happen to people who don't, so I'll just leave that statistic out there, while also jumping into the Bedrock beta. So this is the 1.17.40.20 beta, and this is the seed IBX being loaded up right now. Just 3 simple letters, there's no way to get it wrong, and we're gonna see exactly how it loads in. The answer to that question is you spawn on this plains biome right over here at about 152, 69, 30, and as you can see, it's surrounded by roof forest on most sides. It's been a while since I've seen a roof forest spawn, so that's kind of nice, I guess. There's these little almost cave things that aren't quite caves, and then it's relatively current day Minecraft looking otherwise, actually. It's pretty flat everywhere. It's kind of hilly, but not really. And if we compare this exact same seed, but on the Java edition, so this is snapshot 21W37A, exact same seed, IBX all lowercase, and we're going to press create world now. So the way it worked prior to current versions is Bedrock seeds would work on Java, but to a much lower extent. However, apparently some progress has been made, and when this big square hit, so by the way, can I just point out, by the way, how much slower that was to load? And this is loading on my Extreme Edition Intel PC versus loading on a phone. But interestingly enough, as you can see, I spawn in a plains biome surrounded by forest, surrounded by, actually, this looks nothing the same at all. This is not the same seed. Are we in a different spawn area, maybe? Yeah, we're at 166, 210. So we spawned about 400 blocks in a different direction. Maybe if I head towards the correct area. Okay, so this is roughly the same coordinates, and it took me a while to work out why this looked so different despite the apparent parity update, and it's because what I actually did is I loaded up the Bedrock beta without hitting the Caves and Cliff experimental toggle. Unlike the Java snapshots where you can just load straight into the new features, you have to first download the betas on Bedrock, and then you have to specifically say on every individual new world that you want to play with the new features. It seems excessive, but it's what led to this little mistake. Oopsie. I play around with these betas almost every single week, but I still make this mistake, so I totally don't blame you if you've also made this same mistake before at some point, because it's totally natural. So let's turn off that weather cycle, let's turn on invite only, and let's see how it actually looks in the Caves and Cliffs update that we know so far, as opposed to just the beta, which is very different. And so loading up the world. Okay, so immediately you can see it's looking more Caves and Cliffsy. I mean, what was a spawn surrounded by a roof forest is now surrounded by savanna, this giant mountain. We've got a mesa biome over there. It's looking pretty beautiful in my opinion. And then we've got a plains just across this river, which by the way is brand new and is super wide. So spawning at 0, the world origin, is really cool, which isn't matched perfectly by Java. It does have to be said. However, if you do go to this exact same point on the Java edition, then you'll see some similarities to this big mountain at spawn, except on Java, there's an abandoned village right here. It's weird because usually Bedrock is the one that goes too heavy on abandoned villages, and as you can see on the Bedrock version right now, there is precisely 0 abandoned villages right here. There is just the big open body, and then there is a river, which does match. This is exactly the same between versions. There is or rather, it's the exact same in that it's a river. The river does look a bit wider on the Java edition, but if you actually go up close, the river looks slightly different when you compare versions right here, but I think that's partly to do with the planks and then the tree on the other side. If you just ignore that and focus on the blocks of the generation, you can see that it is mostly the same. The river, the brand new feature, is the same between versions. However, the fact is there is another village just across the way on the Java edition, just over here, as you can see. But if we do that exact same journey on the Bedrock edition, we find no village. Even more interestingly, if you look at where the trees are placed on the side of the river, you'll see that that decoration has also not been perfectly matched. So you will find more trees on either Java or Bedrock, depending on the particular seed. They'll be spawning in different places, which is very interesting to me. It does seem like there are more here on Java. So overall, so far, this is a win for the Java Edition comparison until you look over there at this wonderful savanna mountain that exists on Java, just opposite the river. So again, to confirm, here's where the other side of the river is. We do a 180-degree turn, and we look back at this view, whereas if we do the exact same thing on Bedrock, and we do a 180-degree turn, all of a sudden, that mesa biome has entirely taken it over. So yeah, there are some huge works towards parity. When the biomes are the same, they really are the same, but actually, it doesn't seem to be correct entirely. But obviously, the scientific method is not trying to prove something right and being like, aha, parity's not really there. Instead, I feel like it's trying to stress test and prove myself wrong and be like, okay, where is the parity then? If it's, you know, obviously this is a mesa biome that is spawned somewhere else, maybe than it's supposed to. It's a huge mesa biome too, by the way. But what about other seeds? What about better examples than this? Because, you know, this isn't a perfectly fair comparison. So let's load up another seed and see how that one goes. So we're gonna load up the seed Toy Cat on 2137A. I'm gonna do the exact same here on the Bedrock edition, and then we're gonna see and compare what happens. So over here on the Java, you spawn at the coordinates -125, -89, and you spawn on a, is this a survival island of some form? No, it's just the very edge of some terrain. There is a beautiful jungle on a hill over there, and there's an ocean over there, which is blue, I guess you could say. I do love oceans. They're filled with water, which is very useful. But what I really love is terrain that looks like that. So when we check out the exact same seed, on the Bedrock edition, as you can see, you spawn somewhere else entirely. -512, -251, and you do spawn on an actual survival island, except this one is like 3 savanna trees, or 2 savanna, nope, it's 3 savanna trees, which is actually a pretty cool looking spawn. If you want survival, it even has some sugarcane. If you want that vibe of like a deserted island where you have to do everything yourself, you're many, many years late to the party, but there's nothing stopping you. But if we take a quick swim towards the coordinates for the Java edition, which is this way, then you'll see that those coordinates lead you to, oh, this is an ocean with no overlap whatsoever. There seems to be a mountain over there that I'm assuming is matched in some way. Let's see if we can confirm that. It is a mountain that goes right out to the middle of nowhere. Let's see what that looks like on the Java edition. The answer is no. There is no mountain that seems to exist there. This seed, at least, is the antithesis to that point, and I'm not really seeing the similarities here, but that could be to do with spawn area stuff. I did quickly confirm the seeds were the same. I made sure they matched up, and they definitely do. This is a very cool seed over here on Bedrock, though. Like, again, seeing mountains raise out of nowhere. Like, again, it's like an island that you could survive on, except it is a mountain entirely. It's very interesting, to say the least. I guess maybe something's broken here. However, the further away you go from spawn, generally the less these errors stack up. And so let's just quickly prove the point that if we type /seed on both versions, oh, seed isn't a command on Bedrock, but if you read the top of the screen, you can see that is the same seed between both versions. And now if we use this information, we can therefore confirm that we should get the same place if we TP to, let's just say, 1,000, 100, 1,000. It's a nice simple number that's far away from here, and we'll see what it looks like on both versions. Okay, over here on the Bedrock version, you're spawning in a savanna. It's pretty nice, and over here on the Java edition, you're in a taiga biome. This seed has no direct analog between versions. I mean, I guess we could argue that there are hills nearby us, but the village isn't there, and basically, these two seeds share nothing in common. Okay, this is a seed 1000. There's no way you can see any confusion here. Entered on Java, and then we do the exact same, obviously hitting caves and cliffs first, making sure that is very much turned on, and then we do the exact same, but over here on Bedrock, seed 1000. Okay, so we spawn in entirely different places, -128, -128 on Bedrock versus 250, 221 on Java. So if we just normalize for that by TPing ourselves to -128, 64, -128. What a beautiful set of numbers, by the way. Okay, so here you can see that actually the similarities have returned. The colors are different because Bedrock and Java have different color palettes. The tree is there on Java that it shouldn't be on Bedrock, but if we look past that tree, or walk past it rather, and then we walk past the imaginary tree over here on Bedrock, you'll see that actually pretty darn similar terrain. There are more trees over here on Bedrock because, again, that decoration seed isn't the same. There's more grass over there on Java, it looks like, because decoration seeds are different. But as far as the base base terrain goes, as far as the river, etc. goes, it is very much the same. Although here on Java we have this pitiful medium-sized salmon. Get out of here, salmon. Be big or be small. Don't bother me with your mediocrity. But if we ignore that, you can see it's actually very much the same. This river, which has this huge, like, what do we even call this? Like a little bird foot going on over here on the Bedrock edition, has the same, or at least very similar, bird foot going on Java. Although the middle toe seems to be much bigger and longer, but I think it's the same here, it's just obscured by more. And then same with this lake over here. This lake exists, oh, there's rather two lakes right there on the Bedrock edition, and there are two lakes over here on the Java edition, meaning seed parity has been reached in a very specific way. At these spawn areas, seeds seem to have very, very much in common. It seems though that the further away you get from spawn, the more things start to be slightly more offset. Take for example this lava pit over here, and then take for example the lava pit way over here instead. And then it seems like they make slightly different biome decisions that I would guess actually do stack up and get worse as you go the distance rather than better. Because although this follows pretty closely right now, again, you find the occasional village, you find the occasional biome mismatch. Like here on the Bedrock edition, as you can see, when you reach this little tongue in the river, the savanna biome keeps on going, but if you reach the exact same, this doesn't look the same, but if we reach the same tongue in the river, you can see it slowly shifts to a plains biome over there. So let's see if the same thing is true, that when we go to 1,000 blocks in each direction, these seeds have gone so different that they're basically not the same. Okay, on both platforms, I have teleported to 1,000, 100, 1,000. And as you can see, they are not entirely dissimilar. The coordinates exist the same place, and so do, again, you can actually see the trees look kind of similar here. The terrain is very much the same on both of these seeds, for the most part. It's a plains biome. There's a village here on the Java Bedrock, but there's not one on Java. That's to be expected. The oceans are in the same place, and if we look to the left, there is a forest in that same kind of place. It's not as easy to see here on Bedrock, or it looks further away on Bedrock, but could be render distance or something. As you can see, the seeds actually do maintain the roughly same level of integrity as they did before, which is very interesting to see, in my opinion. Actually, wait, no, this is definitely different. There's a big cave entrance right here on the Bedrock edition, whereas on the Java edition, it's just that the river has expanded a bit instead. Actually, wait, is it the same cave entrance, just this one is underwater though? Because if so, that would be huge. It is, in fact, a cave entrance. So there are dry entrances and places where there are wet entrances to caves between the editions. Again, I personally think this, you know, ignoring the hilarious how it looks aspect, I think that, I mean, it does look like a very deep canal that could birth new life into Minecraft, perhaps we could say. But anyway, you can see that, like, yeah, this looks a bit better over here compared to the two versions. There are still changes to be made, but once you ignore those changes, the broad strokes are very similar, which is cool to see. It doesn't seem to cover every single seed right now entirely. There are similarities that seem to break. It could be just that I did something wrong. I mean, I made the beta mistake earlier today. Who knows what else I did? But as far as the broad strokes, Java and Bedrock are a step closer to seed parity, and that's cool to see. I mean, every update, Java and Bedrock get closer together and then further apart at the same time, it seems. It's cool to see that they take the old mechanics and they are still trying to address them, and seeds are one of those big mechanical differences that fundamentally need to be pretty different because Java has 64-bit seeds and Bedrock has 32, but it is something they're always looking into, and I wonder if in future they'll just introduce a 64-bit seed emulator for the Bedrock edition. Maybe in future they have grand plans we don't know about. I don't know for sure though. All I know is that this village looks very wacky with this big cave, and you know, if we go to this exact same cave on Bedrock, you know what we'll find that it doesn't exist. Because yeah, I think that parity movements are positive. This one's not as big as you might have heard about, but it's very big that they've done something, and it's cool that while adjusting the entire terrain system for both platforms and trying to maintain performance, they've also managed to make... Oh, is this the cave over here? No, this is something else entirely, huh? So yeah, while trying to overhaul the entire world generation system, they've also put effort into making sure it's a similar world generation system, which I am very interested in. If you're interested too though, thank you for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Remember to never send me an Xbox invite because I hate your guts. And I'm just kidding. I'll see you all later today for a live stream where I'll be doing either some ocean draining or the experience challenge where I want to get as much experience as I can in 1 hour. How will it go? We'll find out All I know for sure, though, is I'll see you next time. Goodbye.